I got that.
People that fun on the hallway.
That letter. You got it? Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Yeah, thank you.
We are ready.
Okay, it's 1 o'clock. I'm going to call the January 21st Board of Commission meeting to order. Today, we're going to start out with the prayer by Commissioner Sarkella, followed by the pledge by Commissioner Ballard.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather in a free country. We're grateful and humble to the many gifts that you give us. Keep us safe in this cold weather and allow us to accomplish great things in our county this year. We ask that you would be with us during our meeting. Give us sound minds and grateful hearts for all that we do, remembering that all things come through your Son's most precious name, in whose name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Leslie, roll call, please.
District 1 Chairman John Black,
Present.
District 2 Commissioner Roger Ballard,
Present.
District 3 Commissioner Gary Heberly, District 4 Commissioner Bill Sarkella,
Here.
District 5 Commissioner Christine Lee, Present. District 6 Commissioner Evans Ehart,
Here.
District 7 Commissioner John Moody.
Here.
Thank you, Leslie.
You're welcome.
Okay, with that completed, I would like to adopt the agenda. We do have one amendment to the agenda today. Under presentations, the year-end report will not be done because people are sick from that office. And instead, we are going to have Walt Badgerow, Supervisor of Worth Township, here today for a short presentation. With that amendment in mind, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
I'll make that motion.
Or have a motion and support to adopt the agenda as amended from Commissioner Lee, support from Commissioner Ehart. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to our meeting minutes from January 7th. If there are no corrections or deletions, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Ballard, supported by Commissioner Heberly, to adopt our meeting minutes from January 7th. All in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. You received your correspondence from Jody through email the other day. We're going to move into commissioner reports. We're going to start with Commissioner Moody.
Had a Fremont Township on the 16th. Not a whole lot going on there this month. They did have some hall cleaning and some various jobs done. Had a couple blight issues. That's about it. Had Speaker Township on the 13th. Their fire department had 6 calls in December. They had a planning commission meeting the following night. They're updating some policies, going through some roadside ditch agreements. Just paid their bills. Basically, they had a reimbursement to Liberty for $27,000. And they're working on fixing some lights in their driveway. Then I had Worth Township on the 15th. They had some land split combination thing. I believe they ended up tabling. Or denying it, actually denied it. They added some IP addresses to their information system. They're getting quotes on some fencing issues, and that's about it.
Good. Thank you, John. Evans?
I got hopefully Croswell Council tonight. My township meeting is not till this Thursday, and I send council next Monday.
Okay. Very good. I was up to the village of Forestville last week or the week before, talking to the ambulance services up there. They're still moving forward with some ideas on that. And then Marion Township got a hold of me the other day. They're dealing with an issue. They're trying to hold a public hearing for a zoning amendment, and they had some difficulty getting it in the newspaper. So they are going to continue to work on that to get the publication correct. That's all I have. Christine?
I had the city of Brown City, and they decided to drop the MDOT road diet where they were going to take out the 4 lanes and made it 3 and a bike path. They decided that there was too many that they didn't want that because of the farmers and the Amish, that if they stopped at the railroad track, it's going to slow down traffic. They're going to set the next meeting. They're going to try to set up a public hearing for the marijuana ordinance. The code enforcement officer resigned. And then I had a meeting with Flynn Township. They interview a new assessor because their old assessor passed away on New Year's Eve. And they looked at the Brime contract and they set their meeting schedules and gonna be looking at their 24-25 budget. Peck, I had a meeting with Peck and they set the new contract for their garbage picked up. They were setting plans for the park from like April through Christmas. Every month they want to have some type of activity in the park. Like 1 month would be Family Fun Day, and one would be a movie, and one would be the trunk or treat, and then the tree lighting and different activities like that. They did a resolution for the street, MDOT State Highway right away, MDOT performance. And that is all for that. And then Elmer Township, I was at Elmer Township. And they were setting up their meetings for the year. They were talking about the clerk and the treasurer's salary and what they were gonna pay the different committee members and stuff. Their attorney was there to talk about the renewable energy, the wind turbines. And he was talking about there was 3 options in Public Act 233. And that is it.
Okay, thank you, Christine. Bill?
Nothing to report this time, other than, the latest DNR report for deer harvest for Sanilac County this morning was 9,479 deer.
Are we still leading the state?
Yes, by about 1,500.
Very good.
And it was 2 more than yesterday, so obviously somebody got a couple deer. So that's the total number up to this point, and that hunt does go till the end of January.
Okay.
I still have 14 eating my yard up.
You could turn it into 13.
Not in town. I've already talked to the police chief.
Oh,
And to top that off, a text from the sheriff's office, they picked up 195 dead deer from the side of the road, the jail.
That's not in the number I just gave.
No, that was dated January 14th.
very good. That's all you had, Bill?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Gary?
Thank you, John. I attended Watertown Township, Moortown Township, and City of Sandusky last night, so I'll start back up top with Watertown. Scott Kenny, the supervisor, reported they're going to install and update water meters, and if you understand, Watertown is parts of Sandusky, so they want to update them to make sure they have the accurate information, and it's long overdue. Moortown Township, in their last meeting, they scheduled the planning commission meeting was scheduled. Sid also reported that there is a MTA planning seminar being put on by the MTA, and that's I think mid-March. And in that meeting, Scott Kenny attended from Watertown, and they're trying to get 4 or 5 different people from our townships all ride down together. And I looked at some of the information and provided, and sometimes there's more information than you can comprehend, but any information you get and guidance always helps to bring back your townships. Sid also reported, Sid Thompson, he's a supervisor at Moortown Township. He reported that the Foster Swift initiative is moving slowly. They were hoping they'd get a little more traction. It did, but they're still working on it. Last night, the city of Sandusky, we were advised that ROPA is looking to put on an expansion 80 by 90 building on their building out east of Sandusky. And then city manager Dave Faber reported that Eagle has visited the waste plant, and they come up with a number of suggestions. And anytime you get Eagle involved or you get government involved and brings up suggestions, it always costs money, right? So they got to find money to do that. Also, Dave Faber said that they had their first meeting with the Region 4. That was a recycle, the 4 counties, 3 counties, and they're starting to work on bylaws on that. And also, he said they had to update their MDOT documents due to a new employee at the wastewater plant here. So, and my report.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Roger?
I attended Lamont Township last night. They approved their 2025 wages by resolution, and also a resolution for the poverty tax exemption for 2025. I actually warmed my car up longer than it took for the meeting. So short meeting. Tonight I have Marlette Township. It was postponed from last week. So see what goes on there, and that's it.
Okay, thank you, Roger. I appreciate everyone's commissioner reports. Nathan, your administrator report, please.
Yes, thank you. So the first thing I wanted to touch on, I know that Commissioner Hebelin talked about the multi-county materials management plan. I went to that, I did attend that meeting. Commissioner Sarkella was double booked that night. One of the things that we discovered in that meeting, which was a little bit disappointing to us, was the state had led everybody to believe that they'd be receiving X amount of dollars. It was $60,000. Then you enter into the multi-county plan, you get another $10,000, and then you get so much per capita for the first 3 years. In the meeting, they had broke news that there had been a meeting with Eagle, and they were saying that it was a grant that was reimbursable based on your expenses. So you weren't being fronted that money, but you could seek reimbursement for anything you spent, which was a little bit backwards from what people had thought that it was going to be. So, I mean, the good thing is it looks like anything you expend out, you will be able to be reimbursed. But again, you have to first expend the money.
You gotta have seed money to put out.
Yeah, which is a bit disappointing. So there was a lot of pushback against Eagle on that, apparently on the call that they had though. So we'll see if anything changes on that. It sounded like, especially some of the bigger counties, Wayne, Home, were very frustrated by that on their call. So we'll see where that goes. But another example of the state sometimes making promises and then they kind of pull the rug out on you, as we've seen before. Wanted to update you guys. I had a meeting with some officials from the city manager from Peck and Brown City, and then Samantha from our economic development. And we had the discussion of whether we wanted to pursue a housing study for the county. There's some grant dollars potentially out there, and talked about maybe some benefits to that. We left it, Tim Hayden, the village manager from Peck, was going to talk to his grant writer about it a little bit and see if they thought it was feasible under this MISHDA grant to pursue this housing study. As we get a little deeper into that, I'll let you guys know. It's just kind of the preliminary discussion we had, but it might be something that could be beneficial to assess our housing stock, assess what we would need in the area, what would be beneficial, and then for the locals to help them maybe begin some of those discussions with some builders to see what sort of housing stock could benefit the area. So
Nathan, do you think there's any possibility of that housing study being utilized in order to gain grant dollars for potential builds in the future if there's monies available? If say the study showed that we have a deficiency, that could be something that could be helpful.
I think that's what they were looking at, is trying to leverage further dollars. And we were also looking at piggybacking that off of our master plan, which kind of highlighted our housing stock a little bit and kind of our depleted housing stock and some of those things. So we're trying to tie maybe all those things in together. So we'll see where that goes. Port Sanilac Museum reached out to me. They have a grant opportunity they are looking to pursue for some infrastructure upgrades. Sounds like electrical, some renovations to one of the buildings, ADA compliance things they want to do. So if the board isn't opposed, I said I think there would be favorable to me writing a letter of support for that based on the county.
I've already done mine.
You did yours. Perfect. All right. And then the last thing, I know the Foster and Swift appeal of Public Act of the provisions of PA 233 came up. We did get notice that the motion to stay was denied, but the motion for consideration of the appeal and to intervene was granted. So it is moving forward. There wasn't a stay granted, as effectively like freezing everything at this point, but it will be moving forward. So
Right. So essentially the rules still stand. Developers could potentially apply, although I find it interesting that I haven't seen any doing so. because I think they got a big question mark in their head as to where this is gonna go in the end.
Agreed.
So, but yeah, that was disappointing to see the first thing, but hopefully more will come. And the letter that I read was promising.
Mhm.
So. Anything further for your report, Nathan?
That is all I have. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Nathan? Hearing none for your report. At this time, I'm going to call for public comments pertaining to the agenda. Are there any public comments pertaining to the agenda today? Come on, Paul. All right. Well, if there are no public comments, we're going to move on. We're going to move directly into presentations, and we have Walt Badro here today. Walt, welcome.
Thank you, John. Board. You know, I think Nathan's got his and Christine's got
I
one.
give mine to John.
From over there, John's got.
John's got mine.
We're short. I've got some
And
more
John,
in the
that's all
truck.
right. You can hand it out to this gentleman there, then come back.
Which one? Listen,
I kind of glanced at it already. You know, I only have my eyes, but
I do.
so I didn't think I was gonna be able to be in the area since this meeting that I was invited to last week at Sinclair County Department of Health Advisory Board, which is pretty much the same as our Board of Health board here. So they just longer title. Managed to attend that and was very glad that I did. It was 3.5 hour meeting. Well over an hour of citizens speaking and anecdotal testimony regarding solar arrays coming out of current farms. So the medical director is a doctor by the name of Remington, Nevin. And the packet that I gave you is a memorandum that he wrote on behalf of their board, Board of Health, and submitted to the state of Michigan. It is the belief of many, myself included, that there's a loophole in Public Act 233 that do not mention health department. So it's left the door open for what I see as an absolutely necessary response by every health department. Never believe that this will probably become a statewide event in short order. So there were two motions that were made pertinent to this thing that I'm discussing, and they accepted his memorandum. That was the first thing, and the second motion was to based on the suggestions of new Commissioner District 5, I believe, by the name of Robert Fielitz or Fielitz, Fielitz, recently retired, primarily chemical engineer, helped develop airbags, one of his things. So he asked that the doctor dive in even further than he's done and write a more extensive, what they would do as a directive. So one of the other board members that spoke, and in fact, she was the person that made the motion to accept the memorandum, was Catherine, we would get that right, Richardson from Yale. She runs the Veterans Hospital there. And she had quite a bit to say. Impressive group of people, including the citizens. The room was filled and it was really difficult to hear just by the number of people in the room. Dr. Nevin pointed out various medical side effects of the constant, what they call generator wine or solar wine, which is the electronics used to transfer the collectors to batteries or to whatever system, and the resulting health issues, depression. People are just, migraines is a big issue. One of the things that he cited. Tinnitus is apparently a real big concern. And he made a statement about his position is that he only has to demonstrate that it is just as likely as unlikely to create or contribute to a lot of these problems. And he was not, health department is not held with the burden of proof. So, there are legitimate issues and they want to address them. They want to be ahead of them. The other motion that was made was for their health department to be to participate in construction, pre-construction, just observing and making sure that things are going as were presented. So today I made a presentation this morning for health, and I just wanted to not want this board blindsided, not that Christine would have made a as part of her report. She did because I'm here, but if there were any questions, we could answer something.
So, well, I'm just on the face here, I see this was created by the medical director in St. Clair County, but not the health officer themselves, which would be like the head person in charge. So,
Correct.
and I don't know everything about it, but it sounds like they're working on it at the health department level within
Yes.
St. Clair County.
Yes.
So you happen to be a member of the Board of Health here in Sanilac County,
Yep.
and you guys had some conversation today about it. So was there dialogue, or were all the players in place this morning to have a conversation?
No, actually, Dr. Ahmed was on
Zoom.
his report through Zoom, and then he had a phone conference or something, and Brian was not present as well as Annie and Christine chaired. So there was
He just,
really not much discussion.
he just did a brief presentation. I imagine you will present this at the
Yeah,
next
and
meeting.
I actually know very little about this. I had not met Dr. Nevin prior to a week ago. And it was incredible to hear him speak, and I took the time to answer some of my questions and bring me up to speed a bit. So he's retired from the Army. He was a doctor in the Army. And I think you can find his bio online. I don't believe it's included in that packet. So they did not have handouts there. So I couldn't, all of the questions in my head, I didn't even have time to ask. As I said, all told, I was in there building the parking lot for well over 4 hours. So, and I did meet Mr. Violet's. We stood outside for a half hour. So pretty impressive background. And he's got different feelings about how this will go.
Good.
But
Is this something that you'd be willing to have a deeper discussion with the Board of Health about?
absolutely, that would be my
It'd
intention.
be intriguing to see what our own Board of Health, there's quite a bit here. This is a multi-page document. It'd be interesting to see that group read this and give us their thoughts on it.
Yeah, and as Dr. Nevin stated, his goal is to open up the door to conversation. And, he handed me a book of Robert Kennedy, which is a great book. I really haven't had much of a chance to read it, but it was in my folder, so, you know, that's, yes, we need some dialogue, and we need, discussion, and so, yeah, I will try to prepare myself for our next meeting, so. And if everybody's got anything, any questions?
You have a copy of this on your computer? You can-
Yes. That's what I handed you?
Yeah.
Yes,
Could you send me a copy of that?
well, sure, yeah. We'll do that.
Yeah, if you're willing to pursue that at the Board of Health level, maybe reach out to the chair, and if you guys could get it as an agenda item on the next meeting, and you guys have some dialogue, I would be interested to know what the feedback is from our own health department as it relates to that.
Absolutely, absolutely, we'll do that.
Okay,
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Walt.
thank you for being here, Walt.
Thank you.
Okay, that was the only presentation we were gonna have today. I see no need for 13A, so we're not gonna be, well, wait, I'm gonna take that back. We do have 13A, Central Dispatch Advisory Board. I need a motion to appoint Wanda Grifka as the Township Government Representative to the Central Dispatch Advisory Board for a 2-year term expiring 12/31 of 26.
I'll make the motion.
I'll support it.
I have a motion from Commissioner Moody, support from Commissioner Lee to make the appointment of Wanda Grifka for the Central Dispatch Advisory Board. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Wanda is appointed. There's no need for 13B or 14, so we're gonna move right into general resolutions. And today we're gonna start out with a resolution honoring Shelley Minard for years of service. I don't see Shelley here today.
Let me go grab one.
Okay.
Real quick, for the health meeting, Brian wasn't there. That whole time the chair wasn't there. He's been the chair. Right?
Oh, you gotta come right up front.
Vice chair wasn't there.
Okay. Nobody will wait.
You guys can have a robust discussion.
Well, that's what.
Shelley, first of all, thank you for your service. 24 years is a long time. You've been dedicated to it. And we as commissioners have put together a resolution to honor you. And may I'd like to read it. And I think you're going to get a picture. So you're fine. You'll survive. All right. So resolution honoring Shelley Minard for years of service. Whereas Shelley Minard is retiring from Sanilac County with over 24 years of dedicated service, and whereas Shelley began her career with Sanilac County on June 26, 2001, as deputy clerk for the county's clerk's office. On June 3rd, 2002, she transitioned into the construction and land use, soil erosion, and sedimentation. That's a lot there. But finally, on May 12th, 2004, she transferred to equalization office, where she remained for the past 20 years plus. And whereas Shelley has provided excellent service and quality work, gained respect and admiration of her colleagues, local clerks, and public. And whereas Shelley demonstrated her extensive knowledge of the countywide tax assessment database and imparted the knowledge with both character and integrity. Now therefore be it resolved, the Sanilac County Board of Commissioners does hereby extend to Shelley Minard its heartfelt appreciation, her dedication, efforts, and many accomplished during those years of county service, and offers it with warmest wishes for health, happiness, and retirement. Be it therefore resolved that this resolution be spread upon the proceedings of the Sanilac Board of County Commissioners on this upon the first day of January 2025. Thank you for all you've done. Yes. You're speaking.
Okay, I have a resolution offered by Commissioner Heberlein. Is there support? Support. I have support from Commissioner Ballard. Leslie, a roll call, please.
Commissioner Heberlein?
Yeah.
Commissioner Ballard?
Yes.
Commissioner Moody?
Yes.
Commissioner Sarcella?
Yes.
Commissioner Black?
Yes.
Commissioner Lee?
Yes.
Commissioner Ehert?
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Thank you, Leslie.
You're welcome.
Okay, next up, we have a resolution honoring Otto Kutach for years of service. Otto, I gotta say, earlier, we had three commissioners in the back room all telling stories about the last time you pulled them over.
Actually, Otto, you were the last officer to pull us over.
Yeah.
Three of us.
That's what we talked about, actually.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, you let us go too.
Thank you for your years of service. I know many people know that I got to work side by side with Otto for a little while when he first got here. Before I retired, but I guess we worked together 20 years or so. Yep. All right. The resolution honoring Deputy Otto Kutach, whereas Deputy Otto Kutach has dedicated over 3 decades of distinguished service to the field of law enforcement, exemplary, unwavering commitment, professionalism, and selflessness throughout his career. And whereas Deputy Kutach began his journey in law enforcement in 1990 in Lavaca County Sheriff's Department in Texas as a jailer, where his dedication to public service and well-being of others quickly became evident. Whereas in 1992, Deputy Kutach became a licensed police officer, marking the beginning of his remarkable career that would impact countless lives and communities. And whereas in 1994, Deputy Kutach joined the Hollettsville Police Department, where he rose to the rank of sergeant and at times served as acting police chief, showcasing exemplary leadership, steadfast commitment to justice, and deep sense of responsibility to the citizens he served. And whereas in 2002, Deputy Kutach brought his wealth of experience and dedication to our sheriff's office, where he since served in multiple capacities and with distinction, including as uniformed service deputy, drug task force investigator, firearms instructor, Marine Patrol deputy, 416 secondary road traffic enforcement officer, and field training officer. Whereas Deputy Kutach has earned the respect and admiration of his colleagues, supervisors, and community members alike for his tireless work ethic and ability to mentor and guide others, and his genuine care for safety and welfare of the citizens. Whereas Deputy Kutach continued as a field training officer where he helped shape the next generation of our law enforcement professionals, instilling in them his values and integrity, dedication, and public service that he has so consistently embodied. And whereas Deputy Kutach presents in the San Lake County Sheriff's Office will be deeply missed, and legacy will undoubtedly inspire future deputies for years to come. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Board of Commissioners, the County Board of Commissioners hereby recognize and honor Deputy Kutach for his outstanding and dedication service to law enforcement and community. Be it resolved that the board extends the heartfelt gratitude of Deputy Kutach for his community commitment to protecting and serving the public, for his mentorship to fellow officers, for the profound impact he's made on their lives of those he served. Be it finally resolved that the Board of Commissioners, San Lake County Board of Commissioners, on behalf of the citizens of this county, congratulate Deputy Kutach on a well-deserved retirement on January 29th, 2025, and wish him and his family health, happiness, and fulfillment in all of his future endeavors. Thank you, Otto. Thank you. It was great working with you.
Nice working with you.
Want to do that speech, Otto?
The other side. On behalf of the sheriff's office, Otto. Sad. 3 decades of experience walking away. We got to be friends, we worked together. Anyway, the old guy.
All right, thank you.
That's right, was flown over the courthouse or the sheriff's office in memory and this day.
Thank you. This works.
Very good.
Turn that around so we can see. what it-
I'm sorry.
Very nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you for your service.
Yes.
Thank you.
I had the pleasure, I'm still on the drug board, and that's where I first got to know Otto. Because I was on the drug board when I started working here at the county, and we had some pretty good laughs over at the DTF.
Yes, we did.
Enjoy, you'll love it.
All right, thanks a lot.
And I did enjoy time with him upstairs sometimes as a bailiff, and he would bring us ladies up their carnations from Jerry's Foodland. They were so
Right,
sweet. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Congratulations.
Joy Otto.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a resolution honoring Otto Kutash offered by Commissioner Moody. Is there support?
Support.
Support from Commissioner Ehart. Leslie, a roll call, please.
Commissioner Moody,
Yes.
Commissioner Ehart,
Yes.
Commissioner Heberlein,
Yes.
Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
Commissioner Ballard,
Yes.
Commissioner Sarcella,
Yes.
and Commissioner Block.
Yes, resolution is adopted. Thank you, Leslie. Okay, and finally, resolution honoring William Nolte for years of service. William, welcome.
Thank you.
As you can tell, he even got dressed up. Last time you were tired. Yeah, it's been a
Yeah,
while.
thank you. Being an old man.
Resolution honoring William Nelke for years of service. Whereas William Nelke has given 38 years of dedicated service to Sand Lake Township in many capacities and positions. And whereas Bill was appointed by the Sand Lake Township Board to the Township Zoning Board in October of 1986. He remained on the zoning board until June of 1990 and was reappointed in March of 1999. And whereas Bill was appointed by the Sand Lake Township Board to the position of Sand Lake Township Supervisor on December 17, 2002. He was then elected to the position of Township Supervisor on November 2nd, 2004, and held that position through November 20th, 2012. In March of 2016, Bill was again appointed to fill the position of Township Supervisor and remained Township Supervisor until May of 2019. And whereas on November 3rd, 2020, Bill was elected to the position of Sand Lake Township Trustee and remained in this position until November 20th, 2024. And whereas during his service in the Township of Sand Lake, Bill's invaluable insight, commitment, and dedication was instrumental in the formation of the Sand Lake Township Water Project. Bill remained committed to the water project and held the position of Water Administrator until May of 2024. Whereas Bill's depth of knowledge and unique ability not only to understand, but to explain the implications of the many decisions facing the Township Board have resulted in informed judgment and better policies. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Sand Lake County Board of Commissioners by this resolution recognizes and commends William H. Nelke for his longstanding commitment to Sand Lake Township and to the community. Be it further resolved that this resolution be presented to William H. Nelke and spread upon the proceedings of the Sand Lake County Board of Commissioners this 21st day of January, 2025. In his much younger days, not too far in the distant past, Bill was one heck of a ball player, and he claims that the H in the middle of his name stands for handsome. I'll let you judge that.
Attention.
I do listen to you.
Thank you.
Here, you hold some of this.
Oh, okay.
It's heavy. Thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Service in the
Thank you.
township.
Thank all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Yes.
All right, I have a resolution from Commissioner Sarkella, honoring William Milkey. Is there support? Support. Us. Was
Really.
Gary Leslie.
Gary?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Support from Commissioner Heberlin. Leslie, a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sarcella,
Yes.
Commissioner Heberly.
Yes.
Commissioner Block,
Yes.
Commissioner Moody,
Yes.
Commissioner Ballard,
Yes.
Commissioner Ehart,
Yes.
and Commissioner Lee.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Thank you, Leslie.
You're welcome.
Okay. Now we are down to one more resolution, and this one is pledging the full faith and credit of the county of Sanilac within constitutional limitations for the payment of a 2025 drain note for the Duff IC drain. Angela, how are you today?
And how is everybody?
We woke up green side up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So as many of you know, we've been working with the city of Gwinnett on some flooding issues that they have there in town. And they actually had filed a petition, I believe it was back in 2023. So it's been an ongoing process and we finally just completed our bid letting. We've come up with our comp of cost for the project. And I'm happy to report that of the $2.878 million project, MDOT is paying for the majority of that project to relieve the landowners of the flooding issues. So we have proposed a computation of cost for approximately $740,000 to the residents of the Duff Intercounty Drainage District, along with Tuscola County will be helping pay for a portion of that. And of course, the county will as well, but anyways, my job today is to come before you to get this resolution for full faith and credit. We've been dealing with financial advisors, Joe Colini of Clark Hill and Bobby Bedzinski of Bedzinski and Sons, I believe it's called. And this is the first step towards our bond process. So we're required to take out a bond if it goes over, if it's $500,000. So we are proposing to do this over 5 years. If we get this full faith and credit resolution signed by the board, it does allow us an easier time with the banks to get approval for the loans and get a better interest rate. You guys have any other questions?
Angela, I have a question, but it might be, it's not related strictly to this. It's the issue in Marlette. I was aware that the Marlette Hospital was dealing with a major flooding issue.
Yes.
This is going to be a solution that's going to resolve that particular issue along with other flooding issues?
It will help, but they did find out when BMJ engineers went out and reviewed this, they do have some other flooding issues that are not related to something that we can fix. So last I was made aware of it, they were consulting with some engineers and things to try and get additional things done, but this should help them some.
Okay. Very good. Does anybody have any other questions for Angela related to the resolution?
I'd like to make a motion. For the resolution.
Can you read the resolution for us, Roger?
You want me to read the whole thing?
Well, that would be the way we would
Certainly
normally.
can. I got my
Thanks,
water.
Roger.
Let me take my problem, Bill.
Take a
Take my cap off my water here first. Hang on, one second.
Page 6 of the.
I gotta find my spot.
Appreciate the information you share with us ahead of time. That was very helpful.
I think it's fantastic that MDOT's gonna pick up that for a multi-million-dollar project and only 740 of that's gonna land on the shoulders of the constituents around here.
That is, I live in Marlette and it's been a huge problem for decades and that's quite a gift.
Yes.
It's
Really?
a huge, there's been a lot of flooding right there on M53
Yeah.
by the
always.
gas station and.
Forever. Whereas pursuant to a petition filed with the Drain Commissioners of Sanilac and Tuscola Counties, State of Michigan, proceedings have been taken under the provisions of Act 40, Public Acts of Michigan, 1956, as amended for the making of certain intercounty drain improvements referred to as the Duff Intercounty Drain Project. located in Sanilac and Tuscola counties, and which is being undertaken by the Duff Intercounty Drainage District and a special assessment district established by the Drainage Board for the Drainage District. And whereas the Drainage Board, comprised of the drain commissioners from Sanilac and Tuscola counties and designee from the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, has determined that the project is necessary for the protection of the public health, convenience, or welfare. And in order to provide funds to pay the costs of the project, the Drainage Board, on behalf of the Drainage District, intends to issue the drain bonds or note in an amount not to exceed $740,000 pursuant to the act. And whereas the principal of and interest on the bonds or note will be payable from assessments to be made upon public corporations and benefited properties in the special assessment district. And whereas the Sanilac County Board of Commissioners may, by resolution adopted by a majority of the members of the board, pledge in full faith and credit of the county for the prompt payment of the principal of and interest on the bonds or note pursuant to section 276 of the act. And whereas the pledge of the full faith and credit of the county to the bonds or note will reduce the cost of financing the project and will be a benefit to the people of the county. Whereas the bonds or note is not a private activity bond for purposes of section 141 of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986. Now therefore be it resolved by the Sanilac County Board of Commissioners as follows. The limited tax, full faith, and credit of the County of Sanilac is hereby pledged for the prompt payment of the principal of and interest of on the bonds or note in a paramount not to exceed $740,000. In case any of the deficiency in the assessments to be made to pay the principal of and interest on the bonds or note as and when due, the county shall pay the amount of such deficiency out of its general funds as a first budget obligation, and if necessary, shall levy ad valorem taxes for such purpose against all taxable property within its limits, subject to constitutional and statutory limitations provided. However, that if it is necessary to reimburse the county for money it is obligated to advance, it shall be the duty of the Duff Intercounty Drainage Board to at once levy an additional assessment as hereinbefore provided as such an amount as will make up the deficiency pursuant to the act. That was number one. Number two, should the county advance county funds pursuant to the pledge made in this resolution, the amounts repaid to the county from assessments or reassessments made upon benefited properties in the special assessment district as provided in the act. Number three, the chairperson of the board, the county administrator, the county clerk, and the county treasurer, and any other official of the county or any one or more of them, authorized officers, are authorized and directed to take all actions necessary or desirable for the issuance of the drain bonds or note, and to execute any documents or certificates necessary to complete the issuance of the bonds or note, including but not limited to any applications, including the Department of Treasury, Michigan Department of Treasury, application for state treasurer's approval to issue long-term securities, any certificates pursuant paragraph B5 of SEC Rule 15C2-12 issued under the Securities Exchange Act of 1934 as amended, and amendments to such certificate from time to time in accordance with the terms of such certificate, and any waivers, certificates, receipts, orders, agreements, instruments, and any certificates relating to federal or state securities laws, rules, or regulations, and to participate in the preparation of a preliminary official statement and a final official statement for the bonds or note, and to sign such documents and give any approvals necessary therefore. The county hereby covenants and agrees that it will comply with and carry out all of the provisions of the continuing disclosure certificate. Number four, all previous resolutions of the Board of Commissioners of the county or parts thereof that are inconsistent with this resolution are hereby rescinded.
I have a resolution offered by Commissioner Ballard. Is there support? Support from Commissioner Heberlein. Is there discussion?
You better approve it after all that.
Roger, I think I missed something.
Yeah, table it actually.
Good Good job reading, by the way. Hearing no further comments related to the resolution being offered, Leslie, a roll call, please.
Commissioner Ballard,
Yes.
Commissioner Heberling.
Yes.
Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
Commissioner Moody.
Yes.
Commissioner Ehart,
Yes.
Commissioner Sarkella,
Yes.
and Commissioner Black.
Yes. Resolution is adopted. Angela, thank you for being here to answer questions.
Thank you. I forgot to also tell you that also includes all of the maintenance that has recently been done on the drain. So that cost amount also included all of that.
Thank you.
Good deal.
Thank you.
You guys keep up the good work up there.
Thank you.
Okay, that's going to conclude resolutions for the day. We're going to move directly into commit.
Oh, everyone's going now.
Yeah, they come and they get what they want from us. Makes you feel real loved, right?
Yeah.
We're going to move into committee reports and we're going to start with Commissioner Valley.
I don't really have anything at this time.
Okay,
Parks projects are kind of on hold due to weather and other issues.
very good. Gary?
Yes, this morning I attended the emergency management meeting. As you know, Greg Holman took over that position as our director, and the meeting went very well. A lot of thought put into it, a lot of ideas. So obviously, we met with him, with Greg, with the personnel committee meeting. He brought up some of the initiative we would like to see and what his some of his goals are starting out. And we had a good bunch of people in there with a lot of knowledge that's been part of this. And so it really was a good meeting. And I think we expect some good things out of Greg and out of the emergency management team. And we're going to probably over time reach out to different people as we did with the county master plan to get some ideas and then bring that back. And so I'm excited about it. I think Greg's going to do a great job for us. So the other thing this afternoon, we have a planning commission. I'll let you talk a little bit about that if you want, John. And then this morning we had a personnel committee meeting, approved some things in there. Tomorrow, Region 7 meeting, that includes Huron County, Lapeer, Tuscola, and Sanilac County is hosting the meeting, and our representative Greg Alexander will be attending that meeting. And in my report.
Very good. Thank you, Gary. Bill?
Board of Public Works met for their organizational meeting. Evans was nominated for the chair, but he didn't get enough votes, so
Darn.
Joel will be the new chair again. That was all for BPW. Landfill, the household waste is going to be in September again for the collection period. Their poundage was down a little bit, but they attributed that to the construction going on in town here, keeping people from getting over to the recycling center. They did have out within the county report from the landfill, 52 recycling dumpsters. And then Nathan attended the MMP meeting that he talked about earlier. The MAC board, if you've seen any of the organizational stuff that's come out from MAC, they've had some changes in staffing. So the Ag and Tourism Committee that I've sat on is now going to be the Ag, Tourism, Environmental, and Natural Resources Committee. And they've switched their meeting dates, but I'm going to stay on that and see where it goes. It's going to move to a Friday morning, which will be a little harder to get to versus the Monday ones. But we'll see where that goes. I think it's good that we have some representation on MAC to at least keep us informed as to what's going on at the state level. And then transportation had their meeting last week. They have more gas than diesel buses now, so they're moving that way a little bit. I bet better on maintenance and also availability. Got a grant coming for a lift potential purchase, and then also the low floor buses that I've talked about in the past. There should be a couple of those coming here, hopefully sometime before spring. That's all I have.
Very good. Thank you, Bill. Christine?
Council on Aging, they do not meet in January and February. I do know that the meal sites weren't open yesterday because of the cold, and I'm pretty sure I didn't do it today, but I don't think they will be open today and tomorrow either because of the cold. Child abuse prevention meeting was this morning. We elected the new chair, vice chair, and secretary. The meeting dates and times will be the same. The Santa County Baby Pantry had 1,029 families that they served. That number, 2,500 children were impacted by the county baby pantry. They had 82 at the youth empowerment camp. 70 forensic interviews were done for the year. Victims advocate, 70 children receive victim support and advocate service, and 76 receive life skills sessions. And Eric, if you want that, you can have that. And then I had the Board of Health meeting today. Like Walt said, our chair wasn't there, our vice chair wasn't there, the medical director wasn't there, so it was a real quick meeting. Walt just touched on that a little bit, what he just did the presentation on. Flu and RSV and Nova virus are going up. In Maple Valley, the floor tiles have all been removed until they decide what they're gonna do with the floor, and the ceiling tiles have been reviewed. And Brian Wilkie wasn't there today because he's out of the country. So it was a quick, short meeting. And the emergency manager director happened to drop in on our Board of Health meeting to set the room up for his meeting, didn't realize meeting, but we called him in and he introduced himself and told us about his background. And we all introduced ourselves to him. So that's it.
Very good. Thank you, Christine. As Gary said, the MAC 7th District meeting is tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. We're hosting that at Sanilac County. And Jody's got Dina Bosworth from MAC, who's going to give a legislative update right out of the gate. So anybody who can hop onto that meeting, you'll get a good legislative update from Dina. I don't know if you guys saw the agenda, but I think I put on there transportation because as Bill's noted here a few times, state funding issue with transportation. So it'd be nice to discuss that with the other groups. And then, the recurring topic of wind and solar siting, local control is a common one, but then getting that update from Dina. And then also personnel met this morning. I just want to touch on something quick. You guys have seen a lot of add-ons from personnel on agendas, and neither Gary and I like doing that, but the position we've been in is that there's a lot of people moving around, and there's been some movement. And in order to try to keep departments, able to keep those postings, to try to keep those positions filled, we've been trying to expedite that stuff by doing the add-on. So I just wanted to address that with everybody. It's not the way we would prefer to do it, but it is assisting our other departments and other electeds in getting their stuff done. So we will continue to work on that. I imagine until the labor market straightens out a little bit, which who knows when that will happen. Maybe that'll lay off, but there will be, add-ons periodically because of that. And then also the Save Millage Board that we had some, I don't know, I'd hate to say the word issues, but we had a little contention with last year. We met this year. We only meet quarterly. I thought the meeting went really well. Everybody had a chance to discuss what happened last year and how we can avoid and what kind of programs we should get involved in. Because we tried to contract with HVAC and it just did not work out. So we made the point too that those funds are to be expended for those services, and that they need to find some ways to do that. So one area that they're going to try to focus on is prevention, because the Save Millage, yes, it does create funding for Eva's Place that if something happens to somebody, they have somewhere to go. The CAPC is the group of people that deal with children and minors that maybe were abused by somebody. So they're there for those services. But those are after something happens. And so the focus is, if we have some extra funding available to us, let's focus on prevention so that these types of things don't happen in the first place. And one area that's already done is some of the Save Millage money provides materials for the teams of officers that are in the schools. And so these might be safe dating pamphlets. What's an appropriate relationship at this age? Those types of materials. And so we're going to try to focus on trying to put more of that stuff out and be supportive on the front side of things. So that is all I have.
Was the link to the tomorrow's meeting in that email?
The one that Jody sent out? Let me just check here, John, and just make sure, because we got everybody in the room. And
I think it's included in the attachment.
Okay,
she probably sent that out.
that's all right. I'll find out after.
Last week, it came out maybe.
Been a while ago.
January
Little while.
14th.
Okay. Is it? Oh, yeah, it's right here.
Yeah, it's underneath
Is it?
it's like on the Santa County Board
Okay.
letterhead.
If anybody doesn't have it, just email her, and because Jody will actually be the person who's going to be like orchestrating or setting the Zoom up on the screen and all that. So, okay, that's all I had. Evans?
I had HDC last week. They had their 2024 audit. Everything went well. Obviously, Bill's not on the board now, so it's all going good. And but, I mean, from Yao and Yao did it.
Trained him
and
well.
They said, I mean, the past couple of years, it's been running smoothly. I don't know.
Did you just say
Bill-
Yo-Yo did it?
But yeah, sure, Yao and Yao. I don't know, Bill dealt with the old director. I don't know if he was on the board then, but it sounds like it was very bad, but the new director just, it's smooth, got everything back going perfect. Funds going where they need to be. They're not in debt or anything. It just runs smoothly now. The audit represents that.
It was an unmodified audit then?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Is that all you had? Evan?
Yep, nothing else.
John?
I have nothing. I have medical care, 911 and community corrections all next week.
Okay, very good. Well, that'll conclude committee reports. Appreciate everyone's committee reports. There's no need for unfinished business, so we're gonna move directly into new business. We're gonna start out with FA 008-25, approval of current claims.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payment of current claims identified in the accounts payable report dated January 14th, 2025. The general bank account in the amount of $199,922.89.
Support. A motion from Commissioner Sarcella, support from Commissioner Ballard. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signal by saying aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 009-24, budget adoptions, amendments, appropriations, and transfers.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payment of additional general fund bank account checks charged December 2024 as follows: $540,592.34 in ACH payments, $316,535.99 in checks for a total of $857,128.33.
Okay, we gotta back up. You just read. We skipped 9. Correct?
Oh, yeah, we're on FA 009. You know what, these are,
Hold it.
there's
He's
a,
right.
there actually is a typo on this.
Yeah,
Yeah, so the FA 009-24 should be 25. And so should FA 00 or 010.
008.
00825000925.
Wrong on the agenda, but it's right on.
In the packet.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
All right, so we are currently on FA 009-25, budget adoptions, amendments, appropriations, and transfers.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the following amendments and establishes the following accounts as listed.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarcella, support from Commissioner Ehart. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signal by saying aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Now we're finally on to FA 010-25, approval of additional general fund bank account checks charged to December 2024.
Would you like me to read it again, Chairman?
Yeah, please just quick.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payment of additional general fund bank account checks charged at December 2024 as follows: $540,592.34 in ACH payments, $316,535.99 in checks for a total of $857,128.33.
Support.
I have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarcella, supported by Commissioner Lee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. That concludes new business. I'm going to call for general public comments. Are there any general public comments today? Seeing none, we're going to move on. There's no need for closed session or approval of closed session minutes. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn our BOC meeting at 2:04 today.
I'll make that motion.
Support. I have a motion from Commissioner Lee, support from Commissioner Ballard. Was that you, Roger? To adjourn at 2:04. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
You're adjourned.